Alright guys, slightly late start on recording. I've been working on the brakes for probably about 10-15 minutes now, so I'm going to catch you guys up with where I'm at and what I've done so far, and then proceed forward videoing what I'm doing. So I'm down to a bare knuckle right now. The knuckle's still attached to the coil over here. What I've done so far was remove the tie rod end bolt, or nut, I'm sorry, and I knocked that out of the knuckle. I pulled the brake caliper off, which mounts right here and right here. You can see that laying over there. I pulled the rotor off next, which is right here. And then I've also pulled off the axle nut. Right now what I'm doing is I already loosened the lower bolt to the coil over here. And I am currently taking off the SPC camber bolt that is right on top of here. And then that will allow me to pull the knuckle out, slide the axle out of the nut, and then get access to the lower ball joint, which is below. The whole knuckle can pull forward, and then I can proceed with knocking the axle out of the knuckle itself. Once we took the nut off of the top of the ball joint, we are then able to pull the knuckle off of the ball joint itself. It just slides right off like that. Next, what we're doing is removing the C-clamp that, or it's a C-clip more for that matter, that helps secure the ball joint onto the lower control arm. It's day 2. I got everything disassembled last night, which you kind of just vaguely seen. I got stuck at the lower ball joint, so what I did is I sprayed it and I let it sit overnight, sprayed it again this morning before work, and sprayed it when I got home from work. So hopefully it's enough that with a couple hits of the hanger, couple hits with a hammer, I'll be able to knock it out and proceed with putting everything back together. Way harder to get this one out than the other one. I mean, as expected, there's a little bit more corrosion around the edge here on the driver's side. I tend to notice that more on any car, really. I feel like it has something to do with the fact that this is the side that faces inward on the road as opposed to outward on the road, so it's exposed to more just water and crap from cars on the other side of the road as well. Could be wrong, could be totally making that up, but hey, at least it's out. Is put the new tie rod end on the car. Now when I loosened the nut, I tried to leave the nut in the same place that it was to hopefully not knock the alignment too far out of spec. It's actually easier to just drop it down through here. And there she is. Got the axle, new axle nut, the ABS ring, and the cotter pin. Now the reason I need to do new axles with the VR4 brakes was because the OEM axles that I had on the car were VR4 axles with the ABS ring knocked off because I still had the NA knuckles on the car, and this car didn't originally have ABS. These knuckles for the VR4, they all came with ABS, so I need this ring. And I also didn't have this ring on the axles that were still on the car. So we'll have the ring, we'll have good boots that hopefully last more than like one trip to whatever car show or meet is coming up next, and we won't have to worry about axle grease flinging into the engine bay, which is what has been happening more often than not recently. So now I'm going to slide this in. A rundown on the knuckles that are going on the car. They are the VR4 knuckles. I just did them in red while I was doing the brakes just to clean them up a little bit. OEM everything here except for the 3SX 60mm extended lug nuts. They're a little bit longer than the factory ones. I think the factory ones were 45, 47, something around there. These hubs are still good. These are from the JDM, the GTO, the front clip car that I had. They only have about 47,000 miles on them, so I'm not too worried about reusing them on the car. So now I'm going to slide this on the lower ball joint and feed it onto the axle, attach it to the coilover, to the tie rod end, and tighten everything down before we put the brake back on the car. So that is it for my VR4 brake conversion, front end rebuild, all that good stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. From here on out, all we're going to do is bleed the brakes tomorrow, and then I should be posting a video after the brakes are broken in and I go through the whole break-in process that EBC recommends for the YellowStuff Pads. What I'm going to do is then make a review video on the pads and the whole brake setup itself. I mean, obviously it's going to be better because they're bigger brakes than what I was working with, but I'll just be going over things I like about the EBC pads, things I may not like, whatever it may be. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, click the like button. I really appreciate everybody that's been watching these videos and like hit me up saying, hey, you know, keep it up, you're doing a good job. I'm trying to learn. Hopefully they get better as they go along. The content gets better as it goes along, so make sure you hit the subscribe button. There will be plenty of videos coming, so I will see you guys next time.